Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Frankenstein. It's a movie starring Aaron Eckhart, Bill Nighy, who is always a win, Miranda Otto, Yvonne Strahovski, who plays Tara, who I've seen in a couple other things, and Jai Courtney not sucking. This movie came out in 2014 for a budget of $65 million and only made $75 or $76 million worldwide. Should have made more, a lot more. So, the general storyline is Frankenstein's creature finds himself caught in a war between two immortal factions. I've previously done a review of this, link in the description down below for that spoiler-free review. With this review, I'm going to get into a few more of the spoiler territory things. But, so without further ado, getting into it. It starts off, and he does this excellent voiceover, and he's looking all, Frankensteined up, Aaron Eckhart is, and I love the conversation that the demon guys have. I think it sets a good tone of how this movie is, and then Aaron Eckhart just, comes along and beats the shit out of them, and so do the other guys. They come along, and they have, their little, side story going on, and then they bring Frankenstein's creature, and, Miranda Otto's character is just like, oh, you know what? No, he's not a totally evil thing. Here, let's equip you with some weapons. And then he's like, I'm gonna go on my own way though. And she's like, all right, peace, have a good one. And then there's this time skip where he's walking out in cool badass jacket and leather jacket and all that jazz. And he's like, and I went into the woods to fight these things and fight them on their own terms or whatever the fuck he said. And then, they do the time skip of him, walking with the leather jacket to then it becomes a, sweater, a zip-up hoodie thing. And don't get me wrong, Aaron Eckhart, he rocks it. I just missed the leather jacket thing and the fact that he's just and then I came back to the world of man, which had changed so drastically over these past 100 years or 200 years. And it's yeah, no shit, but, so you literally spent, 200 years just in whatever that forest was, whacking demons, and now you come back, I feel like there's some interesting things that probably happened out there, because I find it hard to believe you spent 200 years just doing that out there. Also, how did you come to possess these cool clothes that are appropriate for this era? Doesn't matter. And you know what? It kind of doesn't, because they just breeze through it so fast that you just sort of forget how little sense that makes. Because the action of this movie is just so excellent. If you enjoyed the first few Underworlds, I highly recommend this. It even has Bill Nighy. And he plays a badass in this. He plays the uber demon dude, and he's such a powerful presence. And I honestly feel like this could have been in the same world as Underworld. I don't know if there were plans for it. Obviously, because of the budget, there was not a crossover, but it totally could have been, which would have been really fun to see. And, so this movie, also, I mentioned the $65 million budget. This movie looks way better than it has any right to with a $65 million budget. Yes, there is CGI in this, but it's done in such a way, and sure they saved some money by mostly having it at night with the CGI, so, it holds up a little longer, but I gotta tell you, a 95% of the movie's CGI holds up way better today than a bunch of CGI that's come out the past few years. So they definitely did what they needed to with this budget, and the practical effects were also really excellent. The demon transformations that were CGI enhanced, and then having the demons be a practical thing was such a good way of doing it. And then all of the hits and fight scenes were for the most part practical with, and even with the more fantastical elements of the fight scenes that integrated CGI and the flying and whatnot, they still did a really good job of integrating practicalness to it and having the hits really hit. And that's one of the things that I think really helped this movie is just how much of the practical stuff was going on and how good they were about keeping that flow going with between the CGI and the real world applications, including the demon fire effects thing. Yeah, sure, CGI, but Fire CGI is one of the hardest things to do, and in 2015, with $65 million, they had a whole fuck ton of it, because every time a demon dies, like, it goes all fire spiral back into the ground, and it works every single time. And sure, some of the, like, scientific logistics things of, like, all of those bodies and, you know, that type of thing, you might, like, start to question, okay, well, what? But don't worry about it, because if you just go with it and are like, yeah, okay, no, we can believe that they made that and are storing them that way. If you just go with that, it really works. And the action involved in this is just really excellent. So I love the weapons that they have, like those weapons and how they explain how those weapons work. Like you would, you know, if you just saw, maybe if you just saw the trailer, I don't know, but if you just saw the trailer of like, okay, so you got a dude who's just got like metal sticks and he's whacking people with them and they're dying, you might be like, well, that's not terribly believable. That doesn't make much sense. Like, you whack them, and unless it's a head whack, why are they dying? But when you hear the explanation of like, okay, you put this magic symbol on there, and it will send them back to hell if you like hurt them with it enough, then you can imagine like if you got Frankenstein's creature's strength, which is phenomenal, and he's just whacking these things with like full strength right in the chest or whatever, like that's going to split them open and would cause them enough damage to have their bodies, or at least have their demonness return to Demonland. And that's excellent. So the CGI looks real, the weapons are cool, how they use the weapons are cool, how they explain the weapons are cool, the practical effects are great, the hits really hit, Jai Courtney doesn't suck, the story is just go with it and it's fun. So yeah, I highly recommend this movie. I would say maybe even watch Victor Frankenstein first and then watch this movie, because then you're like, okay, so that's how Victor Frankenstein was created, and then this. Now, are they in the same, like, universe? No, but I think that's a good enough movie that you should watch that one too, and then it leads you to a movie talking about Frankenstein's creature. So this is a fun time. This is a super, super fun time. I love the characters in it. I love Aaron Eckhart. I love all the side characters and how they interact, and I can't say enough good things about this movie. It should have gotten more, and I hope that you watch it. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Bye.